Welcome, Collider fans, to the Collider Flash Recap Show. We are back after a long holiday break, and we've come back with episode 10 of The Flash, Potential Energy. We're going to try to give you some potential energy here tonight because I didn't think the episode was all that great, but we're going to talk about it, try to give it some life, and analyze a lot of what happened, and talk about the characters that showed up, some old ones, some new ones, and see what we come up with. I'm John Rocha, as always, here hosting, in place for John Campia, and joined by my two amazing co-hosts. To my left,
David Griffin. Let's get this YouTube conversation going. Let's get the comment section going. Where's John Campia?
to my right.
I'm John Campia. I morphed into
There he is.
John Campia from Earth 2. But
Oh my God, that's
no,
awesome.
I am a Kaori Takee. Thank you guys for joining us, and welcome back to the mid-season return.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, I just expressed I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode. I thought there were some good moments, but to come back, it seemed a little bit flat to come back, and everyone is a bit too like, hey, it's no big deal. Zoom is still around, but let's all have jokes and mess around and do stuff like that. But we should talk about the things that we liked first. I suppose that's what we do on the show, and then eventually we'll get to your Twitter questions, and then we'll also talk about things we didn't like. And then who knows? We might say a couple of funny things. You never know. Stay tuned. All right, David, what did you like about the episode?
This is a heavy P. Spivot episode. If you are a P. Spivot fan,
Totally.
This episode was made for you. It's your girl. That girl is a shoot first, ask questions later.
Damn right.
I would say also, if you're not a P. Spivot fan,
Who's
this
not a
episode
P. Spivot?
is
Who's not?
for you as well.
No, I like the opening when Barry said, it's a typical story, boy meets girl, but
Right.
in his world, he's a superhero who meets a girl that he likes and cares about, and then in the end, it turns tragic, but maybe not in the way we thought it was going to end.
Yeah.
I know Campia was suggesting that Spivot was going to be used as she was going to die.
He said she was going to die.
She's going to die.
Yeah.
She used as a way to just knock somebody off. It looks like she might be going to college.
Right.
And getting her master's degree or
I
something.
don't think she's going
She's not going to college?
anywhere.
Well, this is interesting because she's going to Midway City. Midway City is the home base of Hawkeye and Hawkgirl.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and also Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
So this could be interesting because of Legends of Tomorrow. Do we see Patty Spivot showing up in Legends of Tomorrow? I mean, we should not waste Patty Spivot, for God's
No,
sakes.
we're not going to waste her. I don't
Right.
think we should waste her. I think she's definitely going to come back in future Flash episodes. I mean, we saw that Zoom kind of jacks her, so.
Right, in his nightmare.
Yeah.
Right, in his
Oh,
dream.
that's true. It could have been just the nightmare, but I
Right.
felt like in the mid-season finale,
Yeah,
it
there
was
might have been
teased.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless Barry's vibing,
Right.
which I don't know if that.
That
What?
would be a trip. I mean, that'd be a trip.
I mean, even Cisco was.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
We'll get to what
no.
I didn't
Yeah,
like.
we're
in a
just
minute.
bantering.
No, I enjoyed it. I mean, we're going to talk about the weaknesses, but I thought overall it was a fun episode. Obviously, the ending was cool.
Yes.
I mean, that was probably one of my favorite moments was
So
the
cool.
ending, getting to see Dr. Thawne come back.
Yeah.
He's
Eobard
back.
Thawne.
He's confused. Like, where the hell am I? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great way to end the episode and set up the last half of the season.
Yeah.
This is a heavy DC week.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a
Very
lot. Now, we
heavy.
watched it. We didn't get to see. We got the previews, Batman v Superman previews,
Yeah.
Suicide Squad previews. We got Flash or Arrow tomorrow
Arrow
and
tomorrow,
Legends
yeah.
of Tomorrow
Yeah.
on Thursday. It's a big DC week.
Yeah.
It's a good week for DC
my
fans.
DVR has smoke coming off it. There's
Agent
so much.
Carter, everything's coming back
we're
right
pitching
now.
everything
Yeah.
now. What did you think about the episode there?
What I think about the episode or the
Yeah.
positives?
Sure. Tell me about the positives.
The positives. The
Kaori.
positives of this episode. I liked the villain of the week. I
Okay.
thought it was kind of cool
You like the
that he
turtle?
was opposite man, per se. A little threatening because he's a direct opposition to Barry's powers.
Yeah.
And so he proves himself useful. And I liked that Barry kind of struggled with him a little more than other foes are actually supposed to be stronger than Turtle. So
Right.
I kind of thought that was kind of cool. But that was my biggest highlight.
Really?
I mean,
But it's good. Aaron Douglas is from Battlestar Galactica.
Right,
really
right.
good actor. I thought he did a fantastic job. It's too bad that he's toast because
Yeah.
it looks like he took a piece of his brain, sucked
I
a piece
hope
of his
he's
brain
not
out.
toast
Yeah.
though. But I
He was
also
really good.
Now I just remember I do like seeing the development of the West family. Albeit I wish that Wally wasn't so emotional.
Yeah.
But I really want to see that develop more throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
He likes it fast and furious.
His taillights.
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 What are you doing here, taillights? Yeah, we're
right. And of
Yeah.
course, he had to win in a street race with the Nas or whatever it was. Here's the things that I liked about. I actually liked the coffee talk with Patty and Iris. Coffee talk. They're just like going to talk about how to work because I mean that's Barry's situation. It's very difficult. I'm sure it's incredibly difficult to date a superhero right? He's constantly gone all the time, and he seems to just disappear at a moment's notice and do stuff like that. So it's good to hear Iris get a little screen time. You know what I'm saying? I thought Cisco, the idea that Cisco has a whole list of unidentified metas is great.
Yeah.
So
That's
that just
true.
means like we've got a whole bunch of stuff, which they kind of use to explain away the fact that like everybody knew about the turtle except Barry. Like, well, how did that happen? And I found this interesting about what they were doing with Jay Garrick and Caitlin. Like, it was, what are we doing with that? Like, they are they just having a relationship behind the scenes that we're not seeing on the show, or are they like, is this legitimately becoming a romance? Because they're not. I feel like they're not getting enough screen time to make it happen, but they're taking advantage of the screen time they.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we knew that Barry and Patty were staying the night together. Maybe I mean
they've developed.
We saw them sleeping next to each other.
Well, listen,
to the next level.
We're all adults on the show. We know how it works.
for yourself.
You eventually sleep with somebody you're dating, for God's sake. That's kind of how it works. I like the idea. I liked the Patty Spivot scene. I thought she was awesome in that scene.
Which Patty Spivot scene?
Okay, this Patty Spivot scene.
There's a lot of Patty.
Well, there was, right? But for me, it's the one where he's saved her at the gala, and then he comes to see her, and she's wearing her dowdy cat sweater, and they have the conversation. And she's legitimately, like, as an actress, I thought she did a fantastic job in that scene, being like, look, I put up with a lot. I have strong self-esteem because, like, not a lot of women would deal with what I dealt with you. And she listed it, and I thought there was real emotion going on. And every once in a while, in The Flash, which is what I enjoy, you get these moments where these actors or actresses get to really, like, underneath the dialogue of, like, hey, the turtle is here, like real dialogue, you know, where they're talking about honest emotions, honest feelings. And I thought she did a great job with that scene, and I was actually moved by it.
Yeah, and you reminded me of a positive also, and I'm happy that I have another positive.
Okay.
Going kind of backwards to Jay Garrick and Caitlin, I like that they have a relationship that's not overly developed and doesn't become kind of a main plot device at this point. I can really appreciate that. And I also like that we find out that he's sick and he's dying. So more than ever, they need to find Zoom real quick.
Yeah.
And we want to find out what's wrong with him.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to figure out what the disease he might have. You know,
He just got exponentially more interesting.
Yeah.
Because he just pops out of nowhere sometimes, clean cut, shaven. Who knows what's going on with him, right?
David keeps bringing up this point. Where is he getting this money? Where's he
staying? How's he paying for groceries? Yeah,
Or
I
his
mean, groceries,
tux,
especially living. I'm sure they have Whole Foods over there. That's not cheap.
And highlight of this episode was them drinking wine out of a beaker.
Yes.
I want to drink
Champagne,
beaker,
whatever.
Champagne out of
man.
the beaker. Yeah.
That's
Still in the DNA. Yeah.
That makes sense. Two scientists, that's how they say
So
celebrate
cute.
their love, is a little champagne out
love it.
of the beaker. All right, so those are things we liked about the episode. And as I said at the beginning, I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode, but Kaori, since David started, please tell us what you didn't like about the episode.
For me, this wasn't the strongest episode of the season.
Yeah.
For a mid-season return, it fell a little slow pace for me. It was filled with a little bit too much emotion, and I'm not used to this kind of level of somberness on the Flash. Usually I'm used to seeing the Flash being a little more lighthearted, Cisco usually throwing out more jokes or more funny puns, and it really wasn't there. Even when Tom Cavanaugh's character, Dr. Wells, was speaking, it felt a little extra dark, you know.
He was using his Batman voice.
Yeah.
He had the Batman voice going on that one. Yeah.
And Patty, I understand what she's going through is quite painful, but it just she is a strong female character, and for me, putting so much emphasis on her love for Barry and how he's like going back and forth with her and how he's like, okay, I'll tell her. Okay, no, I won't. It was just frustrating, and I felt like they could have handled that differently.
Let me ask you this. Now, this is honestly, as a woman, you're watching this character go through the stuff that she's going through. Like, how does that, like, what does that do for you when you watch it? Do you think it's believable? Do you think it's something you could find? Does it relate to you is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, yes, of course, women... I think, well, this is what
that's what I'm asking, your personal experience.
Men are a lot more simpler than women. Women are a lot more complicated, and we think a lot about one thing. And the problem with Patty...
I mean, can I look in the cameras?
I know, relationship talk. No, but I think that it is believable, Patty's anxieties and worries about him, but they've only been dating for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And she wants him to know all that. And then she's also at the same time been thinking about moving for a long time. So it's not quite fair. She's been keeping that in the dark for a long time too.
Right.
And I also wouldn't go to a girl that he used to be in love with and be like, can I talk to you for a second? Let's have some coffee. Let's talk about this guy. Just
So
a
you
lot
didn't
of
like
it falls
that. Okay.
flat. Yeah.
Okay. Was that all you didn't like about it?
That's, I mean, the main thing is that I just wish it was more of the Flash episodes that I'm used to.
Right. Okay. David?
I have an issue with Barry revealing his secret identity.
Again. Yes.
It's like there's always this big dilemma about when he should reveal it, who he should reveal it to,
Right.
what are the circumstances that would lead to that revelation, and it's always this big deal, and it comes to this talk, and there's a one, like we were joking, we were watching the episode, there was one conversation that he had, and
it was literally a one-line exchange.
One-line exchange. It's like, you know what, you're right, I'm going to go tell her.
I'll tell her.
And then, he leaves, and Wallace is like, you love this girl, you care about this girl, that's good. Don't tell her.
Where are the drugs?
Don't tell. Yeah, where are the drugs? Where is he? In his Batman voice. So it's always they make this a big deal, but it's not a ton of people know.
Yeah.
So many people know his identity. It's like, let's tell one more person. Who cares?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, it's a whole like Harry Potter thing, not telling Jenny Weasley. It's like separating themselves. This whole Spider-Man thing. It's like I don't want those people that I love to get hurt, and I don't know. I just felt it fell short.
Yeah. No, I completely agree
It's
with
losing
you.
its importance. I don't care anymore who he tells. Really.
Yeah.
Because
that's a very good point.
A couple episodes ago, he told his ex-girlfriend, "Oh, it's me. That's why you should trust me." It's like,
right.
Right.
Yeah, her.
I would say Dr. Light.
Dr. Light,
She's not Dr. Light, but yeah, right.
What else didn't you like about the episode?
Young man playing, talking about Wally West.
Oh yeah,
his performance.
You mean the actor?
The actor.
Yes,
Sorry, the actor. His
yes.
performance is a little. Just didn't have that impact I was hoping for. Whenever he would deliver a line, I was kind of waiting for something to hit. It just never did. I mean, it's his first episode, so I want to give him some time, see how he develops. It was his first. Maybe it was the first day on set.
Yeah,
for
first
him.
extended
episode with him. So I mean, he was just a little. He wasn't impressive to me, especially next to Joe. Because Joe is such a fantastic actor.
Right.
So.
I mean, Jesse L. is just.
Great,
I mean, him and Tom Cavanaugh are literally having competition almost every episode.
Right.
Who's better in the scenes that they're doing? All right, what else was that?
That's it for me. Yeah.
All right. Well, then let me jump in and echo in on what you said. Absolutely, I felt that the actor who played Wally West wasn't 100% dialed into the situation, and I also think the storyline of it doesn't make sense. He shows up at their house, therefore initiating the conversation with Joe, and then is like mad that Joe's tailing him or finding out who he is or wanting to spend time with him, and gives him this age-old like argument of like, well, where were you? You weren't my dad. You weren't around. I can take care of my mom. Your mom is having problems. I mean, like, it's just as weird. I get it that he's a young kid, so he's still figuring himself out. But it was interesting. But I didn't understand the fact. Why would he show up on the doorstep if he doesn't want to have this relationship? It doesn't make sense. So
it's
for me,
it's
I had
not
a
one of
tough
those
time
stories
with that.
where. He left. Joe didn't leave.
Right, Joe didn't leave. Joe didn't know.
His wife left him.
Right.
And he didn't know. So it's like, oh, you didn't figure out you're a detective. You didn't know that he had a son. It's like, how was he supposed to know?
I think he was just a little too bitter for my taste.
Right.
No.
You
Right.
know?
It felt like he could have found his way to that bitterness by being like, oh, you could have done this at this time, Joe. Why didn't you do this to try to find out or check in on my mom? Like, yeah.
I'm sure the guy. I shouldn't keep picking on the actor. I mean, he's been in like the Divergent movies. I mean, he's had success, so I'm sure he's got more to offer. We just need to see a little bit more from him, I think.
Right. What did you want to say about that? You were chiming in on Wally.
I mean, I like that he's on the show, but I want to see him shine because he's a big character.
Yeah.
And he should be a big
name.
character. And he fell a little empty and a little disappointing. So
I thought the whole thing about they couldn't see the Flash during that press conference.
Yeah.
That was weird to me. This person dressed in red, just to the side. I mean, just in peripheral vision, you're going to see something red moving.
He's like, lock the place down. He's like, oh, I gotta go.
And then he opens the door and like you see papers fly. He's like, I wonder who that was.
There's just a lot of empty fillers, like how Patty kind of breaks up with Barry
just out of the blue,
in the middle of the police department, not even pulling him aside, kisses him on the cheek, doesn't even let him talk. She just walks away. If you care about a man that much, you let him talk after you tell him something that big.
So, Kaori, you think she's coming back? You think we're going to see more of her?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She's not going to school.
Yeah. She can't be like, goodbye. After all that anxiety left, I'm not going to let you talk. Peace out.
Peace out.
No.
But she kind of turned the tables on him because Barry's always the one leaving.
Yeah.
And letting her have the last word. I thought the weird thing about the chandelier falling, and all of a sudden all the lights went out. I thought it was inventive to make it so that she couldn't see who it was, but it was those long. It was a huge stretch.
All the cords were plugged into that one. So once that light went out, every light went out the whole place.
And everybody left in the dark. No one was screaming or wandering around. Or
that was
like
really well. I want to say I'm kind of going random here, but I thought that was a very well shot scene. The ballroom with the dresses and the dancing. It was really nice. It looked like something that would be on a higher end show. Yeah. Something I'd see on a different network.
Patty Spivot was looking good.
She looked good. She always looks good.
Oh, you kept saying that.
She's a beautiful woman. What can I tell you?
He had his own little commentary going on during the whole episode.
I know.
If by any chance you're watching this show, I have a massive crush on you. What can I tell you? You're great in the show, and I'm a big fan of you. And the turtle, I liked the turtle. I thought the turtle was good, but then it was done. It's like the turtle was presented, and then he's done. And then you have he's basically being used by Dr. Wells. I mean, that was the whole point to introduce the turtle, was to have Dr. Wells shove that thing into his nose, pull out whatever he's going to do, and obviously and use it either to create something to stop a Zoom or to make himself have the turtle power so he can stop Zoom to save Jesse, But so it was interesting. It was a nice character, and Aaron Douglas is a fantastic actor. And I thought it was
for villain of the week. It was a good villain.
This villain is a sick man to sit there and pretty much stuff his wife in there that.
It was a trophy.
He was gonna. I didn't understand why he wanted Patty so hard, even though explanation was because I want something that's important to the Flash.
Right. He's a collector.
That was only his second person to collect after all this time.
He's got a lot of art. Only one person, but a lot of art. A lot of art. A lot of He
doesn't have. He hasn't done his research because he doesn't go after Iris. He doesn't go after Joe.
Nope. Yeah.
He goes after.
How do you know her address?
Yeah. Right. There's the turtle.
He
just
slowed everything down. Up. And why did Barry come back to her apartment? See, things I just think about these things. This kind of keeps me up at night. I can't
That's
sleep.
why you're on the damn show.
I can't sleep
because you got these ideas.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how that plays in, because obviously they didn't kill him off, and they didn't have him they still have him accessible. I'm not sure how they turned off his powers so that Wells can walk in there and shove that thing into his nose and take out his power. So we'll see how they explain that. And it was nice to see Eobard Thawne back. I think what is happening is we're repeating, because they messed with the storylines. Eobard is now back again, like he explained, like when he said 10 years ago or 20 years ago that he discovered himself in this place and had to figure out how to get back, and became Wells. So this will be interesting now that you have Wells from Earth 2, Eobard Thawne from whatever Earth he's coming from, if he's not in the Earth 1 storyline. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, how they find each other, and when they have the confrontation, what that reaction will be like. So at least there's something good to look forward to for next week with Eobard coming back, and we'll hope for the best with Wally. I would think.
Backstory time.
Origin story. All right. Is there anything else that we want to say about the show?
So we're going to do some questions?
Well,
let's do some questions. I just want to see if there's one last comment. All right. So let's take a look. Do you want to read some?
Yes, I am your gatekeeper today for the Twitter questions.
Please. And we should say this, right? If you guys want to send in questions in the future, always put the hashtag #ColliderFlash, and we will read them on next week's episode, or we will maybe answer them to you right there on Twitter. And if they get in before we do our show, we'll answer them on the show. Kaori, take it away.
All right, first question brought to you by @94 Brad Thomas. What are the odds Patty dies now after tonight's episode? Starting to lean closer to the thoughts of John Campea.
I think it's low because they've teased it too much. The chandelier, the chandelier was close.
It was close.
She could have, bit the bullet, as it were, but she was saved. Now she's getting ready to leave. I don't think they're going to, if they kill her, they're going to wait another season. I think they'll keep her on for the season. I don't think it's going to happen because I think they've just teased it too much.
Right.
Not going to. I think it's too obvious if they killed her now.
Okay.
You see, I don't think they teased it too much in the sense that maybe one day it will actually happen. It's like calling a bluff, but I don't think she's going to die anytime soon. She's becoming, oddly enough, just such an important piece of him that it would be kind of tragic. And this is me saying this, for her to die.
Because how much loss does he really need?
Yeah.
Right.
He's already seen his mom's murdered. He's lost people that he's loved. He doesn't really need to lose.
His dad is apparently wandering the rails, whatever he's doing.
I feel like we might see Jay Garrick die before Patty.
Wow.
Ooh.
I think Patty's done.
Suck.
I think we're done. I think this is it. I think she's gone.
Dead, or
yes.
she's just going to leave?
I think she's going to leave.
Okay.
I think this is it. I think maybe they went through her arc and they're like, okay, we're done.
Look, if they did that, I would honestly be very disappointed with the character, because it just would feel like a throwaway character. She went in there, kind of played with his heartstrings, looked sexy, and walked off. It was just
Yeah, it's interesting because she did just kind of dump him there in the police. And she said, I don't want to talk when I'm busy. Listen, here's some advice. Never make a woman talk ahead of when she wants to talk, because trust me, she'll just drop the bomb and walk. So you always want to wait till she's ready to talk.
That's not true. We want to hear you talk.
You have like
But
relationship
you want to have
power.
the conversation, right? When you're ready to have the conversation. Don't you think? Or do you want to be forced into the conversation?
I mean, those kind of conversations are never a good time.
I love it. I love it. Well, I just thought it was weird the way they did it, because she's just like, hey, listen, by the way, I'm done. I'm out. I've been on this 4 years. And I'll see you later. Peace.
I'm out.
Peace. Which means, like, if he had said, I love you, I want to take the next. So she put it on the table. She said, if I want to take the next step with you, you need to show me you want to take the next step with me. If he had said that, she wouldn't have left. So she's leaving because of him.
I mean, she's being hypocritical by not giving him that piece of her life puzzle.
Yeah.
And expecting him to tell her everything, and then she's getting anxiety because he's hiding something, and then she's not telling him that. It's just not fair.
Gotcha.
I think they're both kind of playing the same thing.
I think that's fair to say. I just don't think. I think she's done. I don't think she's dead. We're never going to. We might see her come back, but I think she's done.
I'm sorry. You're not going to make...
I know. Well, I have Caitlin. Caitlin, go ahead.
All right, next question. The Canadian Yeti says, will we find out why Eobard hates Barry so much?
Ooh.
Yeah, because remember in the last season he said, it's not important.
Right.
He said, why do you hate him? It's not important. They just kind of brushed it aside.
Right.
So that would be great if they're saving it for now, especially because now we're getting the real...
Yeah.
Eobard, we're getting the real reverse flash, because everybody keeps saying you wear the, with Harry, they keep calling him Harry.
Yeah.
You wear the face of the person that betrayed us, but that's not Eobard. That's the real Harrison Wells from a different Earth, but it's Harrison Wells. So I'm excited that we're actually getting the real Eobard right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see if they do that in the origin story next week, and see if we discover why, if it's an accident by Barry, or if it's a decision by Barry in the future that causes this situation to occur. I'm just excited that we finally get a villain that's going to be a bit more present.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a bit more present.
I think so too.
Literally, zooms in and out of these episodes and in these situations, and I think we need an overall villain for the second half of the season.
Maybe he'll help
that is
out. He might
constantly
even
there.
help.
Right.
Yeah, it might. Yeah,
Because the Zoom wants to kill everybody.
Right.
So he might
They
actually
might-
help them out.
Zoom
Exactly.
is scary.
Yeah.
they might
Zoom,
team
yeah.
up, which would be ironic that they
Yeah.
team up together to stop Zoom,
Yeah.
and then maybe that's how Barry does something that causes Thawne to hate him.
What a twist that would be, right?
What a twist.
Yes. Okay. Last question.
Last question.
By @Dre5DS. How soon you think Wally will get over and accept Joe and Iris and find out about Barry?
Ooh, that's a
Well, when you got to find out about somebody, it takes some time. You got to have a conversation. You got to sit down and be like, okay, let's talk about this. Can I trust him? I think he's good. I think we saw him accepting his, at least Joe,
A little bit.
with the Chinese dinner.
Yeah,
I think
Chinese
that
food, yeah.
helps. I think that's already kind of building right there. Now
Yeah.
about Barry, I mean, that could be like next week.
right. I
maybe
mean,
he
no,
has-
the show
I mean,
goes-
next week.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Maybe he has an ulterior motive. Look, if I was Joe, I would have arrested that guy, regardless of if he was my son.
You would
that I'm
arrested your
trying.
son?
Yes.
Yeah, the way he kind of walked off with you, and I'm like, you
Yes.
realize your dad could arrest you right now.
Yes.
That would not help
That
the
would have been a
situation.
great punishment.
No, it would not.
You help arrest your son, put him in jail. I want to repair our relationship through the bars. That don't make no sense. That
Yeah,
don't make no
but
sense.
I'm gonna rehabilitate your ass.
That's right.
I think
Taillights.
Wally's gonna. I think Wally might actually find out before he ends up really, really bonding with Joe and Iris.
That Barry's the Flash.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it might kind of happen the other way around.
Yeah, that's possible. I think they're going to drag this out, obviously. Logically, you have to with these storylines. It is a show.
Or not.
Well, that's true. Bye, Patty. But I think it's the way the show works. I think they're going to have the Wally thing. Obviously, because Wally West is a part of the Flash universe, so he will be a part in some way. But they got to drag it out and build him up and get him to, like, walk away from the life of crime. He'll probably have to save his friends in certain situations. Joe will have to be there. Iris will have to be there. And then eventually, and the mom is going to have to, Vanessa Williams is going to have to come back at some point. I mean, we saw her for 2 episodes and then poof, gone. So all that's got to play itself
Wally's trying to
out.
pay for her medical bills.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you
the only
know,
way you can
Yeah.
afford
It's
to
got a
drag
drag
race.
race.
It's got a drag race. Yeah.
You know, so but I mean, it's going to have to drag out over the next. I think through the end of the season, and then maybe he finds out in the season finale that Barry is
Really, I think it's going to be sooner than
You do?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, because
All right.
we want to see Wally in action and not just be a sulky guy who lost his father.
But what would Wally do in action? He's not
Who knows?
a speedster.
I know, but
Right?
like I feel like he's got stuff going on.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
You don't just bring a character and have him just be a sulky human being.
Well, no, but he's going to have to repair his relationship with Joe and with Iris. That's going to give them
would
stuff to play
Would that
with.
interest you to watch the whole rest of the episode? Watch him just repair the relationship.
I think it's a good diversion from what we've got going on because we have Zoom, we have Reverse Flash, we have Jesse, who still hasn't come to play into the situation quite as much. We still have Dr. Wells. We still have Caitlin and Jake Eric. We still have Cisco doing his quips, his Moby Dick quips. You've got
there's a lot going
on, and so I think this would
grounds
be a
it, you think, a little bit.
Yeah, it gives you the diversion, and they always because when Joe and Iris have never had superpowers, yet their moments of conversation are the moments that take us ground us and calm us down a little bit, and then we get revved back into the superhero scene.
But usually it's in relation to the superheroes.
Yes,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Which I think it will be eventually.
Yeah.
But you might be right, though, Kara. I'm sure
I'm right.
Wally... Okay, I apologize.
Right.
Can we have that conversation? All right. Well, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're looking forward to next week?
A better episode.
Oh, ouch.
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh,
Bam.
lesson it.
Yikes. David.
More Eobard thought. I want to see what an origin story. We're gonna get it. I think.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah.
I want an in memoriam for Patty Spivot because we're never going to see her again.
Oh my gosh.
No,
You're going to see her again.
I'm so looking forward to see what they do with Reverse Flash. I like that actor. I liked him in The Mask of Zorro. So it's nice to see him come back and start to be back in front of my eyes again. So I want to see what he's going to do with that character because I like the small stuff he had to do last season. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out and how Kavanaugh reacts to him. Okay, that's the Flash recap show for episode 10. Potential energy. John Campea, we miss you. Hope we did a good job in your stead. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Please leave us comments on YouTube, good and bad. We appreciate them both. And give us shout outs on Twitter and tell a friend and follow us and subscribe. And we'll see you all next time.